When was the last time you pied Megan? Yesterday. Well, you haven't pied her since then. You can come clean if you want to.
Know more about one another than everyone else in here, so J&J, we riding it out.
For all you freaks that said I was the weakest at the challenges, mate, look at me now.
Moira is messy. For calling out Megan and Eyol, that's messy. I think they should have been allowed to, tell Kira at their own time and at their own rate instead of cornering them in front of everybody and humiliating Kira like that. That was bad. And just given how she was going on, I'm fuming. To see the way Johnny was able to calm her down and pacify her. Oh my God, that man is a magician. He is a magician. And I love the fact that they won the challenge. I didn't get to hear them claimed the power couple. And to me, that doesn't make sense. That does not make sense. But anyway, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. We're still on our way to 1,000 subs. Click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island Games, Season 1, Episode 8. So after the game, everyone is debriefing, and I don't get, I get Jess saying she's upset with Johnny because he didn't tell her that he was open to exploring things with Georgia, so that is justifiable. For Liberty to say she doesn't understand why Jess pied her and she thought they'd squash their beef. Well, if you and Jess had squashed your beef, you wouldn't be going behind her back and chasing after her guy. That's where I think the pie came from, not because of the beef that you had before that. I think it's the fact that when Johnny picked Jess, you still continued to push up on Johnny, and this is why she felt some type of way. And Johnny's busy speaking to the guys and it's like, oh, I don't understand why, things happened between me and Silly. I had to pie her because she made a diss track. And it's like, oh my God, this is high school. It makes sense. She says she's not offended, so that's good. But then he's also a bit let down by the fact that Jess, didn't appreciate his proposal for the marry part. And it's like, that's because she was fuming. And I give it to the guys for telling him that Jess was fuming when you were kissing Georgia. And he's, I wanted to let her know that I am interested. Well, there's another way to let her know you are interested without you kissing her. Or maybe he was waiting for her to pull him for a chat. And when that didn't work, he decided to kiss her. And it's like, oh my God, this is crazy. Callum is upset that, he says there's 5 girls. No, I think there's 6 girls. So he says 50% of the girls hate him. Well, I think the rest decided not to pie him because they had other priorities. But had they been given more than one pie, they would have definitely pied him. I don't know. Am I the only one who thinks Celie and Toby were just a relationship of convenience and they were waiting for someone to come in that would tickle their fancy and they would recouple with that person? Because you have Celie sort of making out with Eyol and you have Toby making out with Megan, and it's like, if the two of you really liked each other that much, why did you not make any effort to get back together? Yes, it's okay for you to get to know other people, but the fact that you're eating somebody else's face after a challenge and you don't care about your previous partner tells me that the two of you are really not into each other. You were just into each other for the convenience of it. I said it. Anyway, so you have Jess walk up to Ray and Johnny because Jess is fuming. And one thing about Jess is she's going to speak her mind. She's not going to go and tell people something and then not tell the person what she was saying. So she goes to Johnny, has a conversation and tells him that, you and I have been great. And I thought we were great. So the fact that suddenly you're kissing somebody else in a challenge is news to me. Had you told me, I would have been prepared for it. And what he is saying makes sense as well, in the sense he said he thought proposal was more important, so that's why he left it for the person he's spending the most time with, the person he likes. And so for him, he thought kissing her, yes, he wants to get to know her, but he didn't think anything much of it. And so Jess stood her ground. She will never let anyone walk all over her. And you can see that he really likes her because of the fact that he was trying to pacify her. He stood up, he gave her a hug. He really likes her. He really likes Jess. And I think he likes the fiery bit of her. The fact that she doesn't play any games. I think this is one of the things he likes. I like them as a couple. I'm trying not to, ship them just in case things fall apart given what happened with Harrison and Destiny last season. So I like them. I'll leave it at that. So you have the islanders getting ready for the night, and the conversations are quite interesting. You have Silly and Jess having a conversation about Johnny, and Jess is actually asking Silly that, does Johnny normally just get away from trouble like that? Because I was so furious, but he was able to sort of diffuse me, and in the end, I wasn't angry at him, and she just laughed because they know who he is, that he can charm you, and you'll forget why you were angry with him in the first place. You have Silly and Toby had a conversation that I found interesting. So the two of them really didn't like each other like that. They were just in a couple because it was convenient. That's the impression that I get. Because they have this conversation about, oh, why haven't you pulled me for a chat today? You seem to have a better chemistry with George and I, And so they agreed to just split up. That, okay, let's move on. It's time to move on. It was nice that they did it respectfully. And so hopefully it doesn't backfire on Toby and they don't vote him out. And so you have Jess in bed with Johnny. She's completely, she's not angry anymore. She's telling him, you need to sort of, give me a back massage all night so that I can sleep. You need to, and it's just like, oh my God. And when the lights go out, he's busy doing that. And it's like, Johnny really likes Jess. I think he's not sure whether Jess is playing the game or not. And this is where his worry is. But I think if it were down to it, he really likes Jess and is happy in his couple. He's just being messy just to be messy and so he can stay on the show. But otherwise, I think that's where he is. In the morning, it's interesting to see that everybody seems to be in a good place. You have, Celie asking, is anyone still upset with anyone from the challenge yesterday? And people appear to have moved on. And then Toby's crazy. Everyone can see Jess has moved on. So he has the audacity to ask Jess, are you still pissed? And Jess is just shy because, Johnny has managed to get her for forgiveness somehow in bed. Whatever he did, he was able to win her back. And it was cute to see. And then Johnny went and made Jess a smoothie. And it was cute to see Silly and Jess both excited for Jess that she was getting this smoothie. And it's like, oh my God, this boy really knows how to win the girls over. And then, the guys were outside making toast and it was cute to watch. I thought you watched the show before you walked into the villa. What in his right mind told him that the best person to confide in was Jack? Jack is busy selling everyone down the stream to the Americans so that they can save him. So the audacity for him to sit there and tell Jack, oh, Megan tried to kiss me yesterday. She wanted a kiss and I said no. I think he redeemed himself in the sense that he said no, he wanted to stay with Celie, even though he likes Megan. He's not going to disrespect Celie. I have a feeling that if Eyol couples up with Megan, then Celie's gone home and the producers are not going to want that just because they want Justine to stay on the show, unless Justine becomes boring, because apparently people like Zita and Debs are still to come in, so they might bring in Zita and her friends. Okay, this is a We Stand Johnny and Jess account. For as long as they're together, I'm going to be, celebrating them. I didn't want to, but I can't help it. Anyway, so you have Johnny pull Georgia for a chat. He's having this chat with her, and Jess can see this. And the more they talk, the more angry Jess gets. I remember Georgia saying she didn't see anything romantic with Johnny. I don't know why she didn't tell him. So the idea that she would, have this conversation and say she's open to getting to know him and this, that, and the other. Just tell him you're not interested. But then they're in the villa. If she cuts him off and if Toby goes home, then she's stuck. I guess that's where she's coming from. Meanwhile, Jess, her motor's running. She's busy venting to Imani. And I love the fact that Imani was able to sort of give her sound advice and tell her, you're a bit bad bee. Don't let this, shake you. Don't let this rattle you. And Johnny likes Jess more than he's making out he likes Jess, because of the way he keeps wanting to keep her sweet, because he doesn't really need to do all this. He can go back to Liberty's standing there with open arms waiting for him to come. But the fact that he keeps trying to impress Jess, trying to diffuse her every time she gets upset, is amazing. And she is going mad and he's just calm. And in the end, she had no choice but to kiss him when he asked for a kiss. You have the peanut gallery, Toby and Kira laughing and saying, oh, that's a makeup kiss, because they know that Johnny likes, Jess likes Johnny, but the two of them are very stubborn, and Jess is vocal, whereas Johnny is very quiet. You never know what he's thinking or what he's doing. He moves in silence like a G in lasagna, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Georgia is making me nervous. The fact that she's now expressing interest in Johnny makes me panic, because I love Johnny and Jess. They are just enough drama for me. I think if Johnny were to couple up with Georgia, he would be bored, because he's used to the feisty and fieriness of Jess, so anything else would be boring for him. I hope he doesn't, suddenly decide to try things with Georgia, because I don't think Jess would want to put up with that. I think that would be the end of them. So I have high hopes, and I'm just keeping my fingers crossed for them. Because Jess confides in Megan to say, I've just spoken to Johnny and I don't know what I want to do. I don't know whether I want to pursue things. And it's like, leave him alone. And for, Megan to confide that she kissed, or she tried to kiss Eyol, that's another time bomb in the villa. I don't know whether we need that many time bombs in the villa at the moment. I don't know. She's debating whether to tell Kira or not. I think she needs to tell her, especially if they're in a couple. However, this puts her, at risk, because as we know, if you upset one of the American girls, you are going home. So hopefully she has a game plan. And then you have, I have barely seen Justine and Jack. I thought Justine had feelings for Curtis. So I'm surprised that she's now talking about Jack, and the fact that she's saying that she's worried about getting hurt because of her previous history on her season of Love Island. And it's like, well, that's the risk you take when you put your heart out there and you get close to someone. There is always the risk that they could break your heart. So it's up to you to decide, are you willing to take the risk? And it was nice to see Ray try and console her and sort of comfort her and sort of, let her know that it's okay to try again, and it's okay to put your heart out there, and hopefully this time you'll meet the right person. Jack really hasn't done anything that would make me feel like, he deserves someone like Justine, but that could just be me. I could be biased because of the way he's behaved in the villa and the way he's snaked his boys, is why I am worried that he might just be playing the game. So Moira arrives in the villa and the couples play this couples game, sort of matching answers. And it was very messy. But to start off with, everybody seemed to have the right answers. And then as the game carried on, it became messy. And I'm not going to go through who did what. No, it's too long. And then you had, Moira. I think the producers were waiting for Megan to say something. And when she didn't say anything, they decided to get Moira to say it. And Moira brought up the fact that Eyol had pied Megan, and so he then was asked when was the last time, and they sort of said in the challenge, and Moira kept asking, no, that's not it, until he eventually owned up that, oh well, she did it, but she did it in soul ties. She asked me for a kiss. And it's messy because Megan spoke to Georgia about this, and they agreed that she would tell Kira, and I don't know why she didn't tell Kira. I think that was very messy, and I think I don't know. I don't like it. I think she should have told her and then let Kira process it the best way she knows how. I don't know whether she didn't tell her because the producers told her not to say anything, or whether she just was trying to be shady and just keep it out of Kira's ears for as long as she could. And so for her to come back with, well, I said I was open, and I'm open to experiences. This tells me that she's bi-curious. She's not bisexual, but she's bi-curious in the sense that she's wanting to try the other sex to see whether she likes it or not. And it's sad because she's playing with someone's feelings and emotions, because now Kira looked shocked. She could barely speak because this was something new to her. And so it's like, why would you do that to somebody you care about? And so I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. So at the end of the game, you had Callum and Liberty scored the lowest points. Jess and Johnny had the highest points. I thought that would automatically guarantee them power couple, because I don't get why people are being told go and put coins in whose box and then that person is vulnerable. That doesn't make sense to me. Because if someone has won a competition, everybody has always been, power couple after the winning. So why is it when it comes to Jess and Johnny, that's not the case? Make it make sense. And also for people to say, oh, we want Jess and Johnny to go home. Even Callum himself to root for someone from his country that he's representing doesn't make sense to me. I personally feel like Callum was hurt when Jess said she didn't like him and she would never try anything romantic with him. And this is why every time he's always making these sarcastic remarks. He made the comment that Johnny is too boring here. Can you try and have sex with Jess and make it a bit more spicy? And it's like, why? Why would you say that? Why would you think that that's appropriate? So I don't know. We'll see the results for who are the bottom two couples when everybody has put coins in, and we'll see how that plays out. But it's going to be messy. It's going to be messy. I have a feeling Callum and Liberty are going to be in the bottom, but the producers might not want Callum to go home. But I think he needs to, they need to be in the bottom because they are a friendship couple. They're not a romantic couple. Unless people are just playing games and they're after their threats physically and they're not looking at people who are not in a romantic relationship, then that's how it would go. But we'll see how it plays out. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 7